So I know this video is a little bit late and the topic's been covered by a lot of people already, but I had the slides made and I just didn't get around to it, so I figured I'd just go over it now. So yeah, the Iran war. First, a little bit of background. The United States bombed Iran's nuclear facilities in June of 2025. They dropped bunker buster missiles into the compound, and there was speculation as to whether or not the nuclear material inside was destroyed. Most likely not, and we probably only set them back a few months, maybe a few years at max. There is a typo there, but we have destroyed 30 plus of their warships to this point in the war, and we've been doing targeted bombing runs with Israel on military installations and other military targets. Background on the Ayatollah. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been in power since 1981. He was their president from 81 to 89, and then immediately after that, he just took over as supreme leader and has been reigning as such since. So yeah, over 40, no, almost 40 years in power. No, 45 years in power. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's insane. And then under his rule, there were 30,000 plus state-sponsored killings. He was known for having a lack of free speech in Iran. Under his rule, he jailed tons of reporters and protesters that spoke out in any way, shape, or form against him. And more recently, he slaughtered protesters in the women, life, and freedom movement. And he has numerous crimes against humanity, but that was the most recent. So my opinion on the whole thing, I really don't mind bombing Iran. I really just don't want boots on the ground for a full invasion. Another Iraq or Afghanistan would be horrible. And I actually think, like, a lot of liberals are saying, like, overthrowing their power structure is terrible and we're just leaving the Iranian people, like, to their own defenses and they're going to struggle. But I think it's going to be a net benefit. They're under a super oppressive regime, and that's all changing now. Also, this should not be a party line issue. It's very, very divided along party lines, with a few exceptions on both sides. And I do understand that the lack of involvement in Congress in, like, declaring war is a concern for people. But that being said, we haven't formally declared war since World War II. We just conduct what are called operations, so we don't have to declare war on a nation. Also, a lot of people were saying we're fighting a war for Israel. We're not. This aligns with our foreign policy of America first, because we're keeping nukes and, like, significant amounts of power away from people who chant death to America in their government proceedings. And the left also is acting like they didn't want to overthrow Iran. In 2008, when Hillary Clinton was campaigning for president and Senate, she was saying that she would bomb Iran and take out their power structure. But now that Trump's doing it, that's such a big issue.
An attack on Israel would incur massive retaliation from the United States. We will let the Iranians know that, yes, an attack on Israel would trigger massive retaliation. We are not going to permit them, if we can prevent it, from becoming a nuclear power. But were they to become so, their use of nuclear weapons against Israel would provoke a nuclear response from the United States, which personally I believe would prevent it from happening. Well, the question was, if Iran were to launch a nuclear attack on Israel, what would our response be? And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. And I want them to understand that, because it does mean that they have to look very carefully at their society, because whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
So just as a conclusion, overall, I support what the United States has done. We have targeted military bases with limited civilian casualties, like as much as possible. Obviously, some of that's going to come, and that's really unfortunate, but thus far, we've done a good job of minimizing that. The Ayatollah was a disgusting human being and super oppressive, and almost anybody that we leave them with will be better than he was. And the left needs to back their words from a few years ago, but we all know that that's not going to happen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.